We have so much more to discuss about the conflict that's going on in Israel at the moment, in particular the shocking fact that this took Israel, with one of the world's most sophisticated intelligence communities, completely by surprise. I'm joined now by former Labor MP and foreign policy expert Michael Danby. Michael, thank you for joining me on the program. How could a country with such strong intelligence
Evening, Amanda. Happy trails, by the way.
Not see this coming? Thank you, Michael.
Well, Hamas is a proxy for Iran. The Ayatollahs have been threatening to surround Israel in a ring of fire. So this, to anyone who has seen the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, which sadly the Australian government refuses to bar, unlike the United States, UK and Germany, and your very good colleague Senator Chandler has tried to do, this is an operation run by them. There was a massive cyber attack when this missile attack began. The Hezbollah decided to send thousands of missiles to break the capability of the Iron Dome, which has hitherto been very successful to handle all of those rocket attacks. But in fact, the rocket attacks, in my view, which went from Netanya in the north to places to the east of Dimona, were disguised for the on-the-ground attack. And it's a massive intelligence and operational failure by the Israelis, and there'll be a lot of accounting for this. But they're in an impossible position now. They've got more than 100 hostages. I mean, the people who've come against them, this has just shown why Australia classifies Hamas as a terrorist organisation, Amanda. These are the kind of primeval fanatics who came against the United States on 9/11, who killed all of our people in Bali. They hate the kind of society we are. Why kidnap grandmothers? Why take infants? There's a picture of a grandmother with her two grandchildren, with one must be 2 and the other 4, with bright red hair. Why take German tourists and display their semi-naked bodies to terrorists in all over Gaza, unless you hate Western society, unless you hate the people? That's unreasoning. This is not about people being reasonable and give them this little bit of land and trade land for peace. I mean, we did that 3 times with Presidents Clinton, Obama and Bush. It's not about trading land. These people want Israel's existence terminated. And you can see this in the horrifying shooting of people in their bedrooms, in their cars and at bus stops. There was no mercy. There's no... they weren't attacking military headquarters to advance themselves. This is a horrifying... this is Israel's 9/11, Amanda. And in fact, if you do it per capita, it's 3 times the casualties of a 9/11 as far as the Israelis are concerned.
You're right to say that those who want to try and resolve this by a little bit of give here and a little bit of take there are, in a sense, wasting their time because of the intensity of that hate and its centrality to the domestic Hamas political model. Fueling that hate is how they maintain their power base, making the kind of reasonable measures that one would do in another situation an enormous waste of time and doomed to fail.
And now, Amanda, upgunned by the Iranians.
A weakness? Yeah, quite right.
They have. The Israelis have been concentrating
in Israel,
on the...
do you think?
The Israelis have been concentrating on this American orchestrated peace initiative with Saudi Arabia, which would be great if it ever was to happen. They've been concentrating on the terrorist uprising in the West Bank, and their attentions were diverted. But there's no excuse for this. There'll be a huge price to pay within Israel for the intelligence and operational failures. I must say, Amanda, I'm astonished. They had 3 openings in the fence. They blew up the Erez crossing where thousands of Palestinian workers come into Israel and where goods are traded. Despite all of this rubbish about the siege, there's no siege. It's just they don't allow concrete to be imported for building tunnels purposes. But helicopters should have taken off and dealt with those people entering by same style as Hamas, on those pickup trucks with machine guns, into those small, tiny communities around the border, peaceful kibbutzim, people on a Saturday morning, on a Jewish holiday, on the Jewish Sabbath. Anyhow, it's going to be a terrible fight now. And what I'm worried about is that as the Israelis are stretched out in Gaza and as they're doing what they must do, particularly to retrieve those more than 100 hostages, infants, children, women, that at that point the Iranians will use their other proxy, Hezbollah, to attack from the north. And Hezbollah is even more well armed than Hamas, and they have 150,000 rockets, some of them very long range. So they'll put everything into that if they do attack. I think this is all a cover, Amanda, for something that's happening in 2 weeks' time. It's the anniversary of the uprising in Iran, and Iran doesn't want any international attention on that. And in those 2 weeks, the International Atomic Energy Agency says that Iran will achieve enough fissile uranium to build its first atom bomb. God help us all if the Ayatollah regime gets atomic weapons.
It's an awfully bloodthirsty way to create a smokescreen for something going on in Iran. You've mentioned Hezbollah and Hamas. Will there be other of the enemies of Israel joining this fight? What should we expect in the days ahead?
Well, there might be some uprisings amongst Palestinian population in Israel proper, where they're 20% of the population, more likely on the West Bank. But I think this is sequenced, organised by the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps, which I repeat again, should be banned in Australia like it is in Germany, the UK and the United States. It's a terrorist organisation organising terrorist activities. And look, I think the main thing to watch out for is Hezbollah in the north. The Russians will be very happy with this too. I'm sure they gave their Iranian mates, who they're working with so closely to kill Ukrainians, a nudge, because all of the ammunition dump for 155mm artillery of the United States is in Israel and have been slowly being drawn down for the Ukrainians. Now, interestingly, the Israelis won't be able to let any of that out of their sight anymore as this conflict possibly worsens.
Well, Michael Danby, thank you very much for your contribution tonight. Thank you for standing for good things in the Middle East.